about them. Let's play a Week 6 edition of Awesome, Awful, and Awkward. Neek, what was something awesome you saw this week?
Oh, Jayden Daniels is
yes.
one of the best quarterbacks in football. If they don't have hope in Washington, they have something much better than hope. They have a quarterback for a long time to come, and even in a loss, this is one of the more sophisticated defenses that he was going to face. He didn't turn the ball over. He made good decisions. And this team, once they get built up around him, they'll be a serious threat to win a Super Bowl.
I agree.
In his rookie season.
He is.
In his rookie contract.
Every bit of awesome.
Okay. I really wanted to highlight this again because I feel like it's going very understated, quite frankly. Just how good Jayden Daniels honestly really looked. That was always going to be such a tough game versus the Ravens, which is why I said before that game even was played, I didn't make any strong predictions, but I just said, the Ravens should win this game, right? Like everything is in their favor. And anytime you have a rookie quarterback and you're facing a team where everything is in the other team's favor, right? By definition, the deck is stacked against you. And that is the perfect time for a young team with a new head coach. And again, I know he's coached before, but it's still a new coach, new coordinator, right? Everything is just so new there with a rookie quarterback. That is the perfect time for them to either unravel, for them to either just really kind of have their issues and flaws really exploited, right? They can no longer sweep some of the things under the rug, like all those types of things. And that never happened in this game. That never happened. And so to me, that is not only so wildly impressive about Jayden Daniels, but also just the Commanders as a whole. To me, it really shows you the culture and team that they're building. It's very reminiscent, although it's been a different path, to what the Lions did, I guess, what was it, 21 or 22, right before they really started to get things going. I think they kind of got off to a really slow start, and then it was the second half of the season that they got things going, and then it was the following season when they beat the Chiefs the first game, and then they went to the NFC Championship game, and then here we are here. And so to me, it's very similar of like, I think if we didn't know who Jayden Daniels was, right, if Jayden Daniels was right, the Jared Goff, right, pickup instead of a hot shot rookie, I think people would be sleeping on this team even more. And so I think that that's almost kind of going unnoticed to a degree in a weird way. Because again, Jayden Daniels is both obviously a rookie, so he's bringing some attention onto it, but he's then also kind of to a weird degree taking away some of the attention that some of the things that are also happening within this team and the rebuilding of it, the reculture building of it. Like it's very much what Dan Campbell had to do with Detroit, right? Like they had to make the Lions finally a team that demanded respect. And again, it's just since Jared Goff had already been a quarterback, it was kind of a lot easier to really sleep on them and just be like, whatever, who knows what's going on in Detroit. With the Commanders, it's kind of 50-50. People are both sleeping on them, but also both paying attention on them because of Jayden Daniels, and it's actually been a very interesting experience. And so I think Jayden Daniels, because right, even this is saying Jayden Daniels was awesome, right? He's been getting all the attention, and I've been giving him all the attention as well. But to me, this team is going to become so much more than just Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels will obviously be the leader, and will obviously, everything will stop and start with him. But I really am impressed with what they're building, on top of obviously just the amazing talent and experience already and maturity of Jayden Daniels. And again, right, like they struggled to run the ball, but they were missing their main back. Like that's going to hurt you. And so when you are at this point in everyone's career, in Jayden Daniels' career, you're going to be a little bit less resilient, right? Like it's just some of those things will be too difficult to overcome because you can only do so much at this stage in your career. And quite frankly, it's hard for many quarterbacks and many teams to overcome some of those things, right? We see it all the time, and maybe you can overcome it against less competitors, but when you're playing the best, you're playing the top, you need yourself to be the top, right? Like you need yourself to be the best. I always laugh when people try to act like, injuries are no excuses or this or that. And it's like, listen, if the players didn't really matter, then they wouldn't pay them all the money, right? Like if everyone's interchangeable, then you wouldn't pay them all the money. And again, it all needs to be put into context because some injuries are worse than others. Some quarterbacks are in a better position to overcome the injuries, right? And so the fact that their offense was still really productive, I found just incredibly encouraging. The relationship between Jayden Daniels and McLaurin continues to be just unbelievable. And again, some of the throws, because I think that's what also something that I'm realizing that a lot of people keep getting hung up on is the stats. And stats will always have a complicated relationship with sports because you can use them to prove your point or go against your point. And so it's like, well, under that case, then it's like, well, when do stats matter? And what it really matters is what do you see on film? And then you look at stats to kind of justify what you're seeing and to kind of add, context to what you're seeing. And when you look at the game that Jayden Daniels played, like even though his stats were actually great, but even if we just throw that out, when you see some of the throws he's making, some of the decisions that he's making, the confidence in which he's doing them is just so wildly impressive. And he did it in a game against a team that they knew were going to put up points and control the clock with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So that puts tremendous pressure on the Commanders' offense, as well as, again, not having a run game throughout the game, right? Like it was just non-existent. That puts so much on the plate of Jayden Daniels. And seeing him just not only not break, but not even crack, I think is tremendous. Because this was really the first game outside of probably the week 1 game, which I'm sure has already been forgotten at this point by everyone there. This was the first game because they got this momentum. They were all starting to feel themselves. They were all feeling that energy, getting some big time wins, some blowout wins, Monday Night Football wins, right? Name up in lights, let's go. And then this was kind of the first game since all of that, since they kind of, got all this hype that things weren't going well for them, right? They had many drives that were just stalling, not working, right? That just wasn't what they were used to playing. And to see them again not unravel and still continue to like keep it going, I think is awesome. It's character building, it's team building. It's just a lot of positives. And to be able to compete, and again, when you think about it, the Commanders played better versus the Ravens than the Cowboys did, than the Buffalo Bills did, right? I mean, like they were absolutely in it. They made this a tough, hard, physical game, and they needed like an unbelievable game from Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson to win this. It's not like they won this game and like Lamar Jackson kind of just played kind of average and Derrick Henry only had like 80 rushing yards, right? Like that's not how this game unfolded. You got the Baltimore Ravens like best punch. You absolutely did. I mean, like you absolutely did. You got the Ravens' best punch, and yet they held up. They didn't get knocked out. And that is wildly impressive, not only for trying to evaluate who are the Commanders this season, but then also simultaneously figuring out who are the Commanders. I think I said messed up, right? Who are the Commanders this season, but then also trying to figure out who the Commanders are moving forward into the years to come. So I just think it's just a tremendous amount of really, really positive takeaways. And quite frankly, I watch a game like this and I feel like maybe if you're a Commanders fan, it wasn't maybe the most exciting game, especially considering how excited you were with those previous wins. But I still think that there was tremendous positives and quite frankly, no negatives. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jayden Daniels and also the Washington Commanders as a whole? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.